Hey, there's a secret part of your brain, guys. It's called the default node network. What is this exactly, Mo? Well, I'll let you guys know right now. There's a secret part of your brain that works best when you stop trying so hard. Okay, I've taken a bunch of notes so I can share my thoughts with you guys and kind of expand on it a bit. But yeah, believe it. Apparently, in the neural network field of science and the field of study, and you might have also experienced this in your normal lives, but there is a secret part of your brain that works best when you stop trying so hard. It's called the default node network, and you have to think of it like your brain's background computer. It turns on when you're not focusing on anything specific, like when you're doing your day, like when you're daydreaming. You have to be awake, obviously, for it to take place. But it's like when you're daydreaming, or when you're driving, or when you're taking a shower, or just staring into space, or going out for a long, peaceful walk, get some fresh air, and you have some time to just you know relax and flow for a little bit. What's basically happening with this, guys? What's going on with this default mode network? Okay, essentially, it's just came back from outside, so excuse me for that. But a simple breakdown of what it does, basically, guys, is when you're resting, it links together memories, it links together emotions, and it links together lessons that you've learned. You know, it helps you make sense of who you are. It helps you make sense of what's going on. It's like you think of new ideas and you fire off neurons in your brain when you're doing activities out there, and you learn something new, and you've established a new neural network instead of doing the alcohol, which kills your freaking brain cells. Let's say you've gotten past all that and you're actually learning things and going out there and getting mentors and getting coaches, and they're teaching you things, and they're holding your hand, and they're expanding your brain and showing you that there's other possible ways, guys, out there that you can make moves and do things. you know a lot of you guys go out there and you guys don't even take the time to learn, and you thinking you're stuck in this 9 to 5 grind, thinking that this is the only way, it's all I know. And you do the best you can to come up with ideas, and you come up with some idea that trying to reinvent the wheel. Meanwhile, there's millionaires out there who are successful, and they got all the free time in the world to kind of take on one or two people and just mentor them and coach them, take them under their wing, to show them how to do things properly. Let's say you do that. Let's say you find someone who does that, who gracefully takes their time and shows you ways that you can get out of whatever the heck you got going on, that's making you the peasant money that you might be making as a worker bee, and showing you how you can go out there and make moves and make more financial success for yourself out there, and not struggle so much, and do things more smarter, get more bang for your buck, bang for your time, and better results. And they're showing you things, and they're teaching you new things. But because for 3 or decades or whatever, you've just been stuck in this little caged mentality of not knowing that there's so many other ways, of better ways of doing things. Suddenly all this new information is flooding your brain. It's like, oh my God, I mean, I know it's possible because he's doing it. He's showing me the proof that he's done it. I know he's doing it. I've seen his this and I've seen that, and I know it works. But how the heck am I supposed to apply it to my situation? How the heck am I supposed to customize this approach to what I've been doing this whole time? What kind of things do I need to change? Where do I even begin? Where do I start? Oh my God, I want to do this. It makes total sense, but I just don't know what to start, and I'm stuck. And this is where your default mode network would kick in. This is where the background computer of your mind will kick in. And it'll start creating those, mapping those things out. You give it time to process in the background. Go take a shower, relax your mind. Not through drugs and through alcohol. I'm talking about taking walks. Get in the jacuzzi. Look at night. Look at the stars. Relax. Go for a walk and enjoy the beautiful scenery, and let your mind be pristine and clean, and just let it work in the background in a pristine, clean, crisp, flowing state where you're just calm and relaxed, and things just start clicking. Your brain starts rewiring things and remapping things, and things start making more sense, and it's doing that stuff in the background, and everything just starts to click after a while. That's your node. That you could say that's your default node network. Look it up, guys. It's an actual phrase. Default mode network. Look it up. Okay, it turns on when you're not focusing on anything specific. You've collected information. You don't know what to do with it. The solution could be right in front of you. You're just not getting it. Let's go for a walk. Take a walk. Take a walk. Relax. And just let your amazing, powerful LLM AI in your mind, the one that God gave you, let that go to work, bro. Let that go to work for you. This powerful stuff that this is happening. What this is happening to you, whether you knew this phrase and whether you knew these things or not. We're just putting a label to it. We're just putting a categorization on it. The human mind likes to categorize things and label things and stuff and things. But this stuff's happening. Whether you knew about it or not, we're just making you more conscious and more aware of it, so you can make take more control over it as well. You gotta and so what it's doing is it helps you make sense of things. It starts building things. It can also spot patterns that you might have missed when you were working too hard to figure things out, because you were just narrow tunnel vision on one. You thought this was the one thing that you had to focus on to get it to work, but your brain in the background is like, wait a minute, let's zoom out. Let's look at the whole thing. Hey, he didn't even think about this. He didn't even think about this over here. She didn't even think about this part of it. And that was the key. Boom. Problem solved. Your background computer in the background was, default mode network kicked in, bro, and it got the job done. So, you gotta be conscious of these things so you can take advantage of it, right? I'll give you some practical examples, so that you can kind of piece it together even more. What are you talking about, Mo? Practical real world examples that you could tie this into are like inmates in prisons, survival, and problem solving. When you're in prison, when you're an inmate, you imagine you're in prison. You can't go anywhere. You don't have much access to much of anything, right? But your brain doesn't stop working. Your brain is in your skull. It ain't going nowhere. Keep it pristine. It'll go to work. Be the most dangerous person. It's not the brute. It's not the strong, powerful, big guys in the prisons that are the most dangerous. You know, it's the people who are the smartest. It's the silent, intelligent, the small stature. Typically, the small, silent, small stature. The ones with the brains that are thinking in the background. It's the ones with the intellect. Even if you think about it, even in the animal kingdom, you got all kinds of powerful animals out there. You got lions and tigers and bears and cougars and pumas and mountain lions and leopards and alligators and crocodiles and elephants and all kinds of whales, killer whales, blue whales, dolphins, all kinds of monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas, all kinds of stuff. But guess who's at the top of the food chain? The human beings. Are we stronger than any of those animals? Hell no. From a brute force physical standpoint, we wouldn't survive going head to head with any of these animals. But we are at the top of the food chain. And it's not because of our brute force. It's because of our intellect. It's because of our brain. Right? Same thing in the prison facilities. It's not going to be the strongest, toughest guys out there that are going to dominate. It's going to be the intelligent ones, the ones using their brains to make those things. You can't. It doesn't matter how strong you are. You're not going to be able to take down 30 people who are being controlled singularly by one intelligent individual. 30 against one. You're not doing anything. I don't care how big and strong and tough and whatever you think you are. So, don't focus on the things that focus on strengthening the muscles. Stay physically strong if you're able to, but focus on strengthening the muscles that will get you the real results out there in the real world. Your mind, keep it pristine and sharp. And the default mode network is part of that. It helps. It's a background computer. It helps you solve the problems that you were too laser focused on, narrow minded focused on. Sometimes you got to step back and let your brain, you know, connect the dots for you, and then come back and tell you, hey, you didn't think about this, and you go and you check it out. And you're like, that was it. That was the problem. That solved it, right? Guys start thinking in prison. How do we protect each other? How do we move smart? How do we avoid trouble? That's the default mode network kicking in. It's building strategies. It's connecting patterns. It's replaying past mistakes to make better moves. It even locked up in a prison, the mind keeps creating ways to survive and adapt. The kind of beautiful, powerful things, that tools that God's given us, that we take advantage of, that we take for granted. Another real world example: a programmer stuck on a tough bug. You know, you went to school, you graduated, you made it to that big prestigious thing, and now they give you a problem in the real world, in the workplace, and you got to figure it out. You're the one; it's on your shoulders. You know, a programmer can stare at the same line of code for 5 hours and not see the error sometimes. You know, then he gets up, he takes a walk, he grabs a snack, he steps away from the problem, and boom, the answer hits him right there, as he's sipping on his coffee, or out for a walk outside. That's not luck, guys. That's an example of the default mode network in the field of neuroscience in relation to the brain, and it's solving the problem in the background while he stopped forcing it. Right. Another example is a salesperson using scripts. Salespeople use scripts, right? But the best ones don't just repeat words. It's very difficult to take a script and 100% copy paste it to every single situation, every single scenario, every single phone call, right? It's something that you got to be nimble, and you got to be intelligent enough to understand how to mold the script to the situation and stay on script. If you guys have that kind of framework, right? Sometimes they have to step away after each call. You got to step away. You got to back away from the situation and reflect with your pristine, clean mind on what worked, what didn't work, how did the person react. I'm trying to make that call. I'm trying to make that sale. Ultimately, what did I do wrong, and what could I have done better? It's like when you step away as a salesperson, your default mode network starts connecting the dots. You know, the tone of voice that you used, the timing at which you said the words, you know, the objections and how you handled it, until one day they don't stop sounding like scripts. You stop sounding like a script, and you start sounding natural, because you've built an instinct from reflection. Your default mode networks kicked in, bro. That's what that is. It kicked in, and it made things natural for you. Powerful. Your mind is powerful. You let it do its thing sometimes, and you nurture it instead of deteriorating it. You nurture it, you make it powerful. It repairs itself. It gets smarter, stronger. The beauty of the God's creations, and in terms of the human being and the mind and the heart and the neurons and how everything operates, it's incredible, right? Another real world example is entrepreneurs trying to sell an idea, right? Entrepreneurs hit walls all the time. They're constantly hitting walls. They're constantly trying something, and it fails. And they try something again, and it fails. And try something again, Marketing doesn't always work sometimes for the entrepreneur, or ideas flop, or investors say no, or, right? The smart ones don't panic. They understand rejection is part of the game. You know, Fumbling around and trying to figure things out is part of the process of getting better, right? Sometimes they got to step back, just like the inmate in prison, just like the programmer stuck on the bug, just like the salesperson trying to make that the sales and the call. The entrepreneurs got to step back too. They take a drive, they go pray, they go meditate, they journal. During that downtime, I'm not saying, by the way, guys, I'm not saying as downtime and stepping away that you just turn into a freaking vegetable for a year, and you sit there like a zombie and eat your Doritos and not make any moves. Don't be playing these games. You're not fooling anybody but yourself if you're taking what I'm saying as that. I'm talking about taking, you got to hustle, but just I'm saying, when you get stuck on something and you're not understanding how you're not able to move forward, that's when you take a walk or something. Take a little break. Let your mind absorb it. Let your mind work in the background sometimes. Just take a little break. Go for a little hike. Take a little break. These things. Sometimes that's the thing that unlocks the block that you have going on with whatever you're trying to do, right? During that downtime, your default mode kicks in as an entrepreneur, mixing everything you've learned until the new direction just clicks. That's where pivots. When those things click and those pivots happen. Those are $1 million ideas are born from those things. It's not in the not it's not in the chaos, but in the calm. You imagine you're walking. You've tried so hard to make something work, an idea work, and you go for a walk, or you have some moment, and you're like, that is it. Oh my god, I got it. That's it. Game over. Dunzos. And you get the result. Those click moments, man. For the entrepreneur. Another example, anyone trying to make more money or build a better life, if you're trying to make 10K a month or 50K a month or 100K a month or whatever your goal is, right? You'll hit problems that logic alone can't solve all the time right off the bat immediately, right? You need creative insights. You need the bigger picture, the reasoning, the logic, the rationale, the surroundings, the environment. There's so many different variables that go into play, you know and then it comes from giving your brain breathing room. You got to give your brain a little bit of breathing room sometimes, you know and then that domain mode network connects your experiences, it connects your knowledge, it connects all the things that you might not have been taken into consideration in your imagination, and it shows you the smarter ways to win. A lot of times that click moment sometimes it comes from stepping away and giving your brain a break. This is the secret part of your brain that works best when you stop trying so hard all the time. A little bit of breathing room. Give your brain a little bit of breathing room, right? To wrap it up, guys, the default mode network is one of your brain's secret problem solving modes and secret weapons that you need to be aware of and utilize. It works best when you take a pause, when you stop grinding for a moment. Your brain starts building connections that pure effort could never do. It just couldn't do, right? That's why resting your mind isn't wasting time. Sometimes resting your mind is not wasting time, it's strategic. Okay? The quiet moments, the calm before the storm, the quiet moments are when the next level of your life starts to take shape. And I want you guys to reflect. Has that ever happened to you as you're going through life and you had some difficult problem you were trying to solve and it just wouldn't work, and you took a break, or you were in the shower, or you just went for a walk and suddenly bam, just clicked, like, oh my god, that's it. That's the solution. So, you know, go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you on the next one.